these are properties of exponents yesterday. Any base raised to the 0 power is equal to 1. When you multiply the same base, then you add your exponents. It's just taking it and squishing it into 1. And then when you divide the same base, you subtract your exponents. One thing we have to remember is subtract the top from the bottom always, right? Then our last step would be to say, does our answers have negative exponents? If so, we fix it by taking it, drawing a line, and flipping it over a fraction. And then it fixes the negative exponent. So that's what we learned. So, do you need me to do any off of your worksheet? Are you guys good? Yeah. You do? Okay. Do any off of the worksheet. All right, so, oh yeah, I forgot that I wanted to go over this one real quick. Dang it. Are you guys going to hate me if I go have you grab your worksheets back out of the basket? We need to learn this last property. Because I didn't want to overwhelm you on the first day. Go grab your worksheet out of the basket. Sorry. And then we'll round it in. Pinky promise. I wanted to give you, I didn't want to overwhelm you the first day, so I didn't give too many properties of exponents. So this is the final property of exponent. So I call it power to a power. So in my song I said, when you multiply, you add. When you divide, then you subtract. Raise a power to a power and you multiply. So we have a base raised to a power and we're raising it to another power. Does everybody see how this is power raised to a power? Yes or no? Okay, so then you multiply. So I did n times n. So we have a squared raised to the third. Isn't this power to a power? So you multiply, so this will be a to the 6, right? So looking down here, we have 2x to the negative 3. Both of those things, this is where people mess up, so watch very carefully. This is going to help you. Isn't this 2 to the positive 1 power right here? So we're raising all of this stuff inside to the second power. So we're going to take and distribute the 2 through, raise a power to a power, and you multiply. You multiply the powers, that is. So we have 2 raised to the 1 times 2, which is 2. And we have x to the negative 3 times 2, which is x to the negative 6, right? Isn't negative 3 times 2 negative 6? So there's our answer, right? Now we would just say, can we continue to simplify? Well, yeah, guys. 2 squared means 2 times 2. That's 4, right? And then we flip anything with a negative exponent over a fraction. So won't that be x to the positive 6 on bottom? And voila. Okay, awesome. Let's practice a few. Looking at this one, guys, you can just look up here. You don't have to write it down. Watch so that you know what you're doing. We're going to simplify this. So isn't this 2 to the first? Yes? So then we have all of this stuff raised to the third power. So we're going to distribute that through. Raise a power to a power and you multiply the powers. So we have 2 to the 1 times 3, which is 3. X squared raised to the third. 2 times 3 is x to the 6. And then y to the 3 times 3 is y to the 9. Does everybody see how to do power to a power? Now we'll simplify if possible. 2 to the third means 2 times 2 times 2. So what is the first 2 times 2? What's 2 times 2, guys? 4. 4 times 2 is 8. If you had a calculator, you could type it in to make sure, but 8, x to the 6, y to the 9. So do we need to fix anything? Okay, let's all talk because this is boring. Like there's only 4 of you in here basically. So say yes or no. Ready? We're going to practice. Is this the most simplified answer? Okay, let's practice again. If everybody doesn't say yes, then I'm going to make you come and say yes to yourselves. Is this the most simplified answer? Yes, sweet. We're good then. We're moving on. We can't combine those not like bases. Sweet. Okay, looking at this one, now it looks a little bit harder it is, but you've got it. We're going to go ahead and write in power 1 here so we don't mess up and forget to distribute that negative 3. Look, it's raising powers to a power. So we're going to distribute that through, raise a power to a power, and you multiply the powers. We have 2 raised to the 1 times negative 3. X to the 4 times negative 3, which is negative 12, right? Are we following? If not, I don't know. Like, I mean, if you don't answer, then I don't know if I'm making no sense. And then we have negative 2 times negative 3, which is positive 6. Yay, there's our answer. Now we take and flip anything with a negative exponent. We draw a line. That's got to come down. So it'll be 2 to the positive 3. That's got to come down. X to the positive 12. So on top, we have a y to the 6. On bottom, we have 2 to the 3rd, which is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. X to the 12. Comfortable? Feeling good? Okay. Okay, let's add in an extra thing here, an extra step. So guys, we have raising power to a power. We're going to simplify this piece, and then in the end, we'll simplify it with that. So we have a y to the what power here? Good. So we have raising powers to a power. Does everybody see why that piece is power to a power? So we're going to distribute negative 3 through and multiply. So we have y to the negative 3 times x to the negative 15, right? Everybody? We're all good? And we have times y to the 5th. Now, can't we reorder this? Yeah, isn't it multiplication? We can reorder it. So let's put like bases by each other. We have x to the negative 15, y to the negative 3. I'm going to put that first. No other x's, y to the negative 3, and we have y to the 5th. So now we'll simplify x's, done. When you multiply, you add. So we have x to the negative 15, and we have y to the negative 3 plus 5 is 2. Positive 2, right? No, you're good? Positive 2, right? There's our answer. We fixed negative exponents. So when we draw our line and flip that over a fraction. We have y squared on top, and on bottom we have x to the 15. Okay, I think you guys are feeling comfortable. Would you want to go through a huge one like this real quick? Big, huge one? Okay, a lot of times, guys, with the big, huge ones, they look way more scary than they really are. If you simplify it in teeny sections and then simplify it all together, you're going to be okay. So let's look at this section. Is there anything we can do here? Nope, right? V and U's, different bases. Are we all comfortable with that? So we still have a u to the negative 2, v squared. I'm showing my work. Isn't this raised powers to a power? So you multiply. So we have u, and it was times, u to the 4th times v to the 6th, right? And then we still have a v squared. Now remember, we can reorder this in any order. Let's put all our u's next to each other, all our v's next to each other. Are you seeing how if you use this method to simplifying, you're gonna be okay? Because it always looks big and scary until you just break it down. So we have u to the negative 2, we have a u to the 4th, I'm just reordering it. We have a v squared, we have a v to the 6th, and a v squared. If you guys will just take the time to reorder it, you're gonna be better off. You're not gonna be so confused. When you multiply, you add. So when we have u squared, when you multiply, you add. So we have v to the 6 plus 2 is 8 plus 2 is 10. Do we need to fix any negative exponents? No. So guys, do you see how really it wasn't too bad? It looked scary. It did. It looked scary, but it wasn't. Okay, awesome. So simplify in sections, you'll be okay. What about this one? Would you be able to do it? Give it a try. Go. Try it. You can grab a piece of paper if you need some scratch paper out of that little bucket. Just try it somewhere. Let's see if you know how to do it. We're in here just to learn and make sure we're good. So let's practice this one, and then I'll come around and see how you're doing. Try it in sections. You got it really quickly. X is 0, power is 1. Some of you did x to the 1st. Actually, quite a few of you. So remember, that's a common mistake, and we all make it once or twice. And that's okay. That's why we're in here. So we have a y cubed, and then we got to look. Inside these parentheses, we have x to the 1st, y to the 3rd. I always write in that first power so I don't make the mistake of ignoring that x. Raise power to a power and you multiply. So we have an x to the 4th, y to the 12th. Now we can reorder it. So we have x to the 4th, y cubed, y 12, and then x, no other x's. When you multiply, you add. So you guys did really good with that. Awesome. Okay, practice 21 through 40. There's some difficult ones. Like what I said, guys, don't look at the whole thing and say, I can't do that, it's scary. Simplify it in sections, and then it will get smaller, and it will get smaller and smaller. I would love to help you. I want you to practice those for the next 10 minutes, and then we'll move on to today's lesson. So order of operations, we have order of operations, so it will help us simplify an expression in the correct order. You have to go in the correct order to simplify it correctly. So how many of you for this thing, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally? Anybody? Okay, sweet. So that's just an acronym for you to help you remember the order in which you simplify something. So P stands for parentheses. If you have something inside parentheses, you need to simplify inside the parentheses first. If you have an E stands for exponent. If there's something raised to an exponent, you need to then simplify that. M is for multiplication, so then we'd simplify multiplication. And D is for division, we'd simplify division. A is for addition, simplify addition, and then S is for subtraction, simplify subtraction. Now understand, multiplication and division go hand in hand. You can divide first and then multiply, or you can multiply first and divide. They actually don't go in any certain order. Because look, everybody looks so it makes sense. What's 6 divided by 3 if we went in the order of division first? What's 6 divided by 3? 2, right? No, you're good. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 times, so then now we're going to multiply 2 times 2 is 4, right? Let's go in a different order. What? Wait, what did I say? 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 times 2 is, what the heck am I? But I'm wrong. Because then look, 6 divided by 6 is 1. They should be the same. So what am I missing here? 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4, right? Am I going crazy or am I saying crazy stuff up here? That's right, right? What I just said? Okay. And if we did multiplication first, oh yeah, that's because, So, what did it say? Okay, this is making sense now. Guys, I just had an aha moment. Like, I literally hadn't even thought about this before. If you're given something like this, you'll just go in the order that it's given. So we would first do 6 divided by 3, and then we would times it by 2, because division and multiplication go hand in hand. Does that make sense? That would be the correct way of doing it, just going in order from left to right. Do you get what I'm saying? Otherwise, it was different, and that's like I hadn't even thought about that. Okay, sweet. So we would go with subtraction and addition. If we were to just go in order, it would be 3 plus 2 minus 1. But if it was subtraction, you could do that hand in hand with addition. So order doesn't matter with subtraction and addition and multiplication and division. I hope I didn't confuse you too much. Let's do an example 1A. So looking at this, a lot of people get confused. This is on the worksheet, like the in-class worksheet, right? So if you want to write this down for yourself, these are notes that you're going to keep. So guys, I want you to notice something. We have all this stuff in parentheses, and it's on top of a fraction. So we're going to simplify parentheses first. So we have parentheses, we have a 15, and then we have minus, and we're going to simplify multiplication first, right? So we have 15 minus 10. Does everybody understand? All over 3 plus 6. Division's going to come before, so now we're going to simplify, inside our parentheses here. So on top, don't we have a 5? 15 minus 10? So we have 5 over 3 plus 6, right? Is that the same problem you guys have on your paper? Just making sure. So we have 5 over 3 plus 6. So we would do 5 divided by 3 plus 6 in our calculators. And if we have a graphing calculator, the nice thing is it will do it for us, because we need to be able to add fractions. But our calculator will do it for us. So does anybody have their graphing calculator open today? Just curious. Okay, no, that's not a graphing calculator, but remember guys that we need one of these kind of calculators for this class. It has to be a TI-83 or 84. So if I'll show you, in your graphing calculator, we'll just do 5 divided by 3. 5 divided by 3, hit enter, plus 6, hit enter. It's going to give me this huge decimal, 7.66667, and that would not be acceptable. The nice thing is your calculator will change it back to a fraction for you. If you hit math, enter, it'll change it back to a fraction for you, which is 41 over 3. So that would have been our answer. So do you see how having a calculator would be nice? Because that's going to do all the hard work for you. Otherwise, you'd have to get a common denominator. I don't want to spend time doing that because we have a calculator that can do it. So let's have this here next time. Okay, next one. Let's do 1B. This one looks really hard. We're going to go through it in sections. So we're going to simplify, order of operations. We simplify inside the parentheses first. So everybody see these brackets? These are like the big parentheses here. We're going to simplify inside those first. So we have negative 5 plus 2, which is negative 3, right? So we have negative 3 times 2 to the second. So exponents come first, right? So we're going to do 2 squared. So on top, we really have negative 3 times 2 squared, which 2 squared is 4. Everybody see how the top became negative 3 times 4. So on top, we really have negative 12. I went through and just simplified the top. Now I'm just going to simplify the bottom of my fraction. So look, inside of parentheses, there's nothing to simplify, nothing to simplify, nothing to simplify. But notice we're subtracting a negative, so won't that make this a positive? We're subtracting a negative, so that's going to be positive. So now we have negative 1 plus 4 plus 1. So negative 1 plus 4 plus 1 is 4. So on top we have a negative 12, and on bottom we have a 4. Now looking here, is there one last step? Yes, right? Negative 12 divided by 4 and becomes negative 3, right? And we're done. Do you see how it took peeling back the layers going in pieces? Do we have questions? Okay, another one. We have these huge parentheses. So we're going to go through this one a little bit slower. So we have these huge parentheses, and then we have parentheses inside there. So we're going to go in and do parentheses inside the parentheses first. So that's going to be 5, right? Everybody? So now what comes first, division or addition? Division. So we're going to do 5 divided by 5 plus 1. So what we're going to do first, because that was what was left inside, is divide first. That's really important. What's 5 divided by 5? So we have 1 plus 1 inside our parentheses. So we have 1 plus 1, which is 2. And that was all inside our parentheses. All that stuff became 2. Now, wasn't all that stuff, now pay attention, this is where people make a mistake, wasn't all that stuff multiplied to 6? We have 2 times 6, which is 12. Does everybody see how it looked a lot harder than it really was? We went and kind of inside worked our way out. Okay. 1D, let's go for it. We have negative 6 plus 6 plus negative 7 plus 1. So, what I want you to notice is, right here, we have all this stuff divided by 3. So we need to simplify all this stuff on top first. Anytime you're dealing with fractions, you simplify the top together, you simplify the bottom, and then the whole thing. So what's negative 7 plus 1? Negative 6, right? What's negative 6 divided by 3? Negative 2. So this became negative 2. Does everybody understand that? So are we adding negative 2? Does everybody understand why? So we have a negative 6 with parentheses, nothing to simplify, so we just write negative 6. We're adding 6. Then we're adding negative 2. So can't we just combine like things here? We just add the numbers. What's negative 6 plus 6? 0. And then plus negative 2, isn't that negative 2? Okay. This will really help us later on when we get to some more difficult stuff. That's why we're spending time on this, is because these are things that make people struggle with the bigger picture. Okay, looking at this one, it's a good review because a lot of people forget what absolute value signs mean. So remember, we simplify inside parentheses first. Let's simplify in sections. Let's simplify that and that inside parentheses. So won't this be the absolute value of 3? Then we have this minus sign, and inside our parentheses, so we're going to use those, we're going to put our parentheses. Make sure you're careful and don't just jump to conclusions. A lot of people's minds just say 0 when they say a 4 and a 4. Negative 4 minus 4 more is negative 8, right? And then we're dividing that by 2. So we've got to be careful on this next piece here. So now let's simplify one more time inside parentheses or absolute values. The absolute value of 3, absolute value means positive amount. So 3, positive amount of 3 is 3. If that would be a negative 3, we would put 3. Does that make sense? The absolute value of negative 3 is positive 3. So we have 3. Now, should we subtract first or should we divide first? Probably divide, right? Divide first, yeah? Dear Aunt Sally, subtraction's last. So what's negative 8? So I'm grouping these two because division comes first. So what's negative 8 divided by 2? Negative 4, right? So aren't we subtracting negative 4? Do you understand why it's subtract negative 4? So minus negative 4. So we have 3 minus negative 4, which is really 3 plus 4, which is 7. So yeah, even I make mistakes on these because sometimes I'll jump to conclusions and forget that you need to divide before you subtract and stuff, and that's why we're here, is to make those errors and learn. Okay, something like this looks really scary. Do you want me to go through it with you real quick? Okay. So we simplify inside parentheses. Let's simplify this. Negative 1 minus 3. Isn't that negative 4? Yeah? Guys? Now inside parentheses, don't we have a negative 3 minus 3, which is also negative 4, right? Negative 4? But that negative 4 is squared on top. So I'm going to keep going with the top. Let's keep simplifying the top. So we have negative 4 times negative 4 squared. Should we multiply first or do the exponent part first? Exponent. So remember, guys, if you type it into your calculator, you're going to get it wrong. So let's think about it. Negative 4 squared technically means negative 4 times negative 4. Won't that be positive 16? So we have a negative 4 times 16 on top because this is 16. So on top, what is negative 4 times 16? We have negative 64 on top. And on bottom, let's simplify that. Negative 4 minus negative 6. So we cross the line, change the sign. Negative 4 plus 6 is positive 2. So we have negative 64 divided by 2, which is negative 32. Our last step will be to take this and simplify it, right? So it looks scary, but we just got to simplify it in sections. Okay, are you guys ready to practice? Are you guys ready to practice those? Okay, practice them on your worksheet. Ready, set, go. Oh, it does say this on the worksheet. It says, what's the difference between an equation versus expression? This is good to know. If I said 2x equals 4, that's an equation because of the equal sign. An expression, because this could be on the test, because it's a good question to ask. Do you guys see what I mean by equation? It has an equal sign. An expression would be something like 2x plus 4, because there's no equal sign. Does that make sense? It just is an expression. I didn't say do anything. I said 2x plus 4, period, end of story. If I said simplify or whatever, 2x plus 4, or that's all you, I mean, there's nothing you can do here. So everybody, do you see expressions don't have equal signs? It's just like a statement where equations have equal signs. Okay, just make note of that. Do 1 through 10, go. Okay, if you want to take a picture of this, that would be great. These are the steps. You take to solve a linear equation. Linear means degree 1. So degree 1 would be like, for example, a linear equation of x plus 2 equals 5. This is a linear equation because the variable has only degree 1. Do you all understand what a linear equation is? So that's what we're going to practice today, is solving linear equations. So I'm just going to remind you of some vocabulary. So if I say the left side, we're going to the left side, right side, we're going to the right side. So when solving an equation, I'll refer to this side as the left side and this side as the right side of the equation. So just make sure you understand that. Your first step, combine all like terms on left side, combine all like terms on the right side. So if we're looking at 2x plus x is equal to 10 plus 5, our first step would be to go at 2x plus x, which is 3x's, right? Everybody, combining like terms, is equal to 10 plus 5, which is 15. That's our first step, combine like terms. Second step, isolate the variable by applying inverses to get the variable alone. Multiplication undoes division. We're getting x alone. And division undoes multiplication. Addition undoes subtraction. Subtraction undoes addition. Then your third step would be to check your answers by plugging in your answer back into the original problem and seeing if it's a true statement. So these are the steps we take. So let's do number 11. And I'm going to do that off your worksheet. Here we go. Your worksheet, so I would do it, so then you don't have to do it. Number 11. So we have 7 times negative 7n plus 3 is equal to 413. We're solving for n. Now I want you to notice something real quick. We have 7 times all that stuff. We've got to distribute that 7 through. Okay, everybody? So we're going to have negative 49n's. We got to distribute the 7 through here too, because it's 7 times all that stuff in parentheses. So we have 49n plus 21. And we have is equal to 413. So we're going to combine all like terms on the left, no like terms, and nothing on the right. So now we'll go ahead and solve for n piece by piece, getting it alone. So we have plus, we're trying to get n alone, plus 21. What does addition subtraction, right? So we'd minus 21 from both sides. Now go like this and check your inverse to make sure it worked out correctly. We have negative 49n's. And if you add those up, don't they become 0? Guys? So we've done this correctly, which is equal to 413 minus 21 is 392. So we took care of this correctly. We can always check that because it added up to be 0. So now to undo multiplication. Now here's why it's multiplication. It's negative 49 times n, right? What undoes multiplication? Division. So we would divide both sides by negative 49. Now look, check to make sure your inverse actually worked out. Negative 49 divided by negative 49 is 1. Do you see how that's just got n alone correctly? So we have 1n, which is n is equal to, and you take your calculator and you type that in and you get negative 8. Now we can check our answer by plugging that negative 8 back in up here in for n and seeing if this is a true statement. Today I'm not going to take time to do it because I want to give you time to practice. Is that okay? Let's do number 12 together. So we have 5 times all that stuff's equal to negative 95. So I'm going to distribute once again. So we have 15r's plus 10. I distributed that 5 through here and here. And that's equal to negative 95. So now we'll get our alone piece by piece. Minus 10, minus 10. 15r's is equal to negative 105, right? That should be a negative sign, so I was like looking up. And then we divide both sides by 15. Can somebody calculate that for me? Negative 7. Good, awesome. R equals negative 7. Number 13, I don't want to do because I'll let you do it. How about you go for it? Go for it. If everybody got negative 8 for real, we don't need to go through it. Are you sure you all got negative 8? If not, let's go through it. We got negative 8. I haven't even done it, so I don't know if it's right. If you all got it, I believe you. Maybe they're wrong. So don't just say yeah because somebody else got it. Did you all get negative 8? Yes or no? Oh, we got a negative 7. Are you sure that you all got negative 8? You didn't. Okay, what'd you get? Okay, 7.3. See, we're getting some different things. So if one of them's right, one of them's wrong. That's okay. That's why we're doing it. Let's distribute that 8 through. So 8 times 3 is 24m's plus 8, right? So if you didn't distribute the 8 through to the 1, that's probably where an error was, because that's just a common mistake. We have equals negative 184. Now, guys, when we subtract 8, guys, so we have 24m's is equal to negative 192. And then we would divide both sides by 24. What's negative 192 divided by 24? Negative 8? Okay, sweet. So maybe it was a calculator typo and I accidentally typed something wrong, or maybe we made a sign there or whatever. But now we see where, right? Everybody, do you see where you made your errors? Okay, awesome. That's why we're here. Okay, cool. What about, okay, number 14. Let's go do this one together. Okay, there's one more step involved. On 14, we have 2 times all that stuff. And then we have a bunch more things. So let's distribute that 2 through. So we have negative 12x's. Are we all following me? And then we have plus 8. We still have minus 8x's. And that's equal to 168. Now remember, our first step is to combine all like terms. So over here, don't you see that we have a negative 12x and a negative 8x? Now think about it very carefully. Negative 12x's minus 8 more x's is negative 20x's, right? So we have negative 20x's, and then we have plus 8, because that's nothing to combine with 8, and that's equal to 168. Is everybody comfortable up to there? Say, if not, say, wait, can you explain that one more time, or can I see that again, or... So then, we just solve for x now. So we subtract 8 from both sides. So we have negative 20x's is equal to 160. We would divide both sides by negative 20. So we get x is equal to, is it positive or negative? 160 divided by negative 20, right? So it'll be negative 8. We're all comfortable with that one to see what to do when you have extra steps, okay? So let's do this one. 15. We have negative 2 times all that stuff is equal to that stuff. Let's distribute that negative 2 through. So we have negative 4. Careful here. This is where most people make the error. Negative 2 times positive v is negative 2 v's, right? Negative 2 v's. And that's equal to 31 plus 3 v's. Then we'll combine all like terms on the left. Nothing. On the right, all like terms, nothing. So now look, guys. Look. We have two v's. We only want one v. We need to combine our v's. We can't just float them together. We've got to use inverses to get from one side of the equation to the other. So if this is negative 2 v's, when we add 2 v's to both sides, now be careful because over here we still have a negative 4. Those added up to be 0. We still had a negative 4. And then over here we have 31 plus 5 v's. Now we will get v alone. So isn't this positive 31? So we'll subtract 31 from both sides. Now right here, this adds up to be negative 35, right? And that's equal to, those add up to be 0, 5v. So now we'll divide both sides by 5. So we have v is equal to negative 7. All right. Okay, I'm not going to do any more. The only thing I want you to do now is go to the in-class worksheet and do 2A through 2D. The note-taking worksheets. I went backwards this time. Now you're going to do 2A through 2D, and you're going to show me.